1. Deadly flesh-eating bacteria. What you need to know about Vibrio in Florida waters. 2. Flesh-eating bacteria in Florida. 4. Dead symptoms and prevention tips. 3. Deadly flesh-eating bacteria. Florida beachgoers at risk amid rising global temperatures. 1. Deadly flesh-eating bacteria. What you need to know about Vibrio in Florida waters. Bold truth about Florida's deadly flesh-eating bacteria. Numbers down but danger still looms. Imagine taking a refreshing dip in the warm, salty waters of Florida, only to find out that lurking beneath the surface is a deadly enemy waiting to strike. Sounds like a horror movie, right? Well, the reality is that Florida's waters are home to flesh-eating bacteria, and while the numbers of cases have dropped, the danger is far from over. In 2025, the state reported 11 confirmed cases of Vibrio vulnificus, a rare but dangerous flesh-eating bacterium found in warm, brackish seawater. This number is a significant drop from 2024, when infections peaked at a staggering 82 cases and 19 deaths. But here's where it gets controversial. The 2024 spike was linked to Hurricane Helene, raising questions about the long-term impact of extreme weather on water quality and public health. The threat is not limited to a single county. Since 2016, Florida has recorded a total of 448 cases and 100 deaths tied to the bacteria. This year, the deadly Vibrio has claimed lives in Bay, Broward, Hillsborough, and St. Johns counties, with additional cases confirmed in Duval, Escambia, Lee, Manatee, Santa Rosa, and Walton counties, as well as a second case in St. Johns. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) estimates about 80,000 Vibrio cases and 100 related deaths occur each year in the United States. While these infections are rare, they pose a significant risk to individuals with weakened immune systems or chronic health conditions. Dr. Edward Hirsch, an infectious disease specialist at HCA Florida University Hospital, warns that people most at risk are immunocompromised individuals, including those with cirrhosis, people undergoing chemotherapy, and anyone with a compromised immune system. Symptoms can range from mild to severe, including blisters, swelling, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, and chills. It progresses to making a hole in whatever part of your body got infected, he explains. To stay safe, Hirsch recommends rinsing off after swimming in ocean water and ensuring seafood is thoroughly cooked. It's very frightening. Luckily, it's very rare, he adds. But here's the part most people miss. The CDC doesn't provide clear information on how the bacteria is transmitted. Is it through water or food? We reached out to the Florida Department of Health in Broward County for clarification, but received no response. So, how can you reduce your risk? Here are some key tips. Avoid raw oysters and shellfish. Always cook seafood thoroughly. Prevent cross-contamination between raw and cooked seafood. Keep open wounds away from warm salt or brackish water. Wear gloves when handling raw shellfish or seafood. Refrigerate leftovers promptly and safely. If you suspect you have a Vibrio infection, seek immediate medical attention. Treatment typically involves antibiotics and wound care, with amputation being a last resort in severe cases. As we continue to enjoy Florida's beautiful waters, it's crucial to stay informed and take precautions. Let's start a conversation. Do you think more should be done to educate the public about the risks of Vibrio? Or are the current prevention measures sufficient? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Key facts about Vibrio vulnificus from the CDC *. Infection can occur by eating raw or undercooked shellfish, especially oysters. Exposure of open wounds to warm salt or brackish water can also lead to infection. No evidence of person-to-person transmission. Diagnosis is made through stool, wound, or blood cultures. Symptoms can range from watery diarrhea to severe skin infections and bloodstream infections. People with weakened immune systems or chronic liver disease are at much higher risk. For more information, visit the CDC's Vibrio page. Link to CDC page. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay safe and stay informed. 2. Flesh-eating bacteria in Florida. For dead symptoms and prevention tips. Imagine stepping into the warm, inviting waters of Florida's coastline, only to become the unsuspecting host to a deadly, flesh-eating bacteria. It's a terrifying reality that has already claimed the lives of 4 people in the state this year. The culprit behind these tragic deaths is Vibrio vulnificus, a type of bacteria that thrives in coastal waters and can cause severe illness and infection. But here's where it gets even more alarming. This bacterium is not just limited to the waters. It can also be found in raw shellfish, particularly oysters. As of now, a total of 11 people have contracted the bacteria in 2025, according to the Florida Health website. The state's health department has confirmed 4 deaths, sparking concerns about public health and safety. So how does this happen? Vibrio vulnificus typically lives in warm, brackish seawater and can enter the body through open wounds when people are swimming. Another potential source of infection is consuming raw or undercooked shellfish, especially oysters. Although infections are rare, Vibrio vulnificus can cause an illness called vibriosis, often marked by vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain, as well as potentially severe skin infections. But what makes this bacterium so deadly? For starters, signs and symptoms of a Vibrio skin infection include fever, redness, pain, swelling, warmth, discoloration, and discharge. While healthy people generally experience only mild symptoms, those who are immunocompromised or have chronic liver disease can face serious health risks. If Vibrio vulnificus enters the bloodstream, it can cause severe illness marked by fever, chills, septic shock, and blistering skin lesions. About half of these bloodstream infections are fatal. In severe cases, the infection can cause necrotizing fasciitis, a condition where the flesh around an open wound dies. This rare but deadly side effect has led to Vibrio vulnificus being described as a flesh-eating bacteria. But here's the part that's often overlooked: diagnosis and treatment. The bacterial infection is diagnosed by testing cultures obtained from stool, wounds, or blood. For mild infections, increasing fluid intake to prevent dehydration is recommended. However, those with severe or prolonged infections should receive antibiotics to improve survival rates. In some cases, surgery may be necessary to remove dead tissue. And this is the part most people miss. Aggressive attention should be given to the wound site, and for patients with wound infections, amputation of the infected limb is sometimes necessary. So, what can you do to protect yourself? Health officials caution against entering warm salt water or brackish water if you have any fresh cuts, scrapes, or wounds. It's also recommended to avoid consuming raw oysters and other raw shellfish, and to avoid cross-contamination of other foods with raw seafood or its juices. If you're handling raw shellfish, wear protective gloves. And if you have liver disease, cancer, diabetes, HIV, or thalassemia, or are taking immune-suppressing medications, you're at a higher risk of complications and should take extra precautions. As we look back at the numbers, it's clear that Vibrio vulnificus is a force to be reckoned with. In 2024, a total of 82 cases and 19 deaths were reported to Florida Health. The year before that, there were 46 cases and 11 deaths. These numbers are a stark reminder of the importance of taking the necessary precautions to prevent infection. But here's the question: are we doing enough to prevent these deaths? Should we be? And this is where we want to hear from you. What do you think can be done to raise awareness about the dangers of Vibrio vulnificus? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 3 deadly flesh-eating bacteria. Florida beachgoers at risk amid rising global temperatures. The alarming rise of flesh-eating bacteria is claiming lives among beachgoers in Florida, with at least 4 fatalities reported this year alone, according to the state's health department. This rare bacterium, known scientifically as Vibrio vulnificus, thrives in warm saltwater and has been linked to at least 11 infections in recent months across several counties in central Florida, including Bay, Broward, Hillsborough, and St. Johns. These areas are popular destinations for tourists and local residents alike. Dr. Daniel Egan, an infectious disease expert at Orlando Health, shed light on the situation, stating, "There's a lot of bacteria that just live in different areas, even in waterborne spots. So there's fresh water, salt water, and this bacteria called Vibrio vulnificus likes salt water." Unfortunately, the Florida Health Department has not disclosed specific details regarding the deaths that have occurred this year. While infections from Vibrio vulnificus are relatively uncommon, with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) reporting around 150 to 200 cases annually. The impact of these infections can be catastrophic. The bacteria can lead to necrotizing fasciitis, a severe condition where the tissue surrounding an open wound begins to die. Many individuals infected with Vibrio vulnificus may require intensive medical care or even amputation of affected limbs. The overall mortality rate for this infection is approximately 20%, and it can escalate to a staggering 50% if the bacteria enter the bloodstream. Tragically, many patients may succumb to the infection within just 2 days of showing symptoms. This bacterium is naturally occurring and flourishes in warm coastal saltwater and brackish environments, making it a significant concern as global temperatures continue to rise. Experts are increasingly worried that Vibrio vulnificus could spread to regions that have previously been unaffected, particularly since it is most active during the warmer months, typically from May to October. Symptoms of infection include vomiting, diarrhea, fever, chills, an elevated heart rate, and disorientation. While healthy individuals often recover, those with pre-existing health conditions or weakened immune systems, such as cancer patients, face a much higher risk of severe complications. In recent years, the number of cases has surged, reaching an unprecedented high in 2024, with the CDC reporting 19 deaths and 82 infections, almost double the figures from 2023. This alarming increase has been attributed to an unusual number of late-season hurricanes affecting Florida and the southeastern United States. The risk of exposure has significantly increased following hurricanes Milton and Helene, which caused floodwaters to push warm saltwater further inland than usual, thereby exposing more individuals to potential infection. Dr. Cami Kim, the director of infectious disease at Tampa General Hospital, noted, "There are people running around lifting, moving stuff that normally they wouldn't do, so the probability of getting that cut or exposure is higher." Looking ahead, climate change is expected to exacerbate these issues, as warmer ocean temperatures contribute to more powerful storms and extended hurricane seasons, creating ideal conditions for Vibrio vulnificus to thrive. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has projected that the economic burden of infections caused by saltwater bacteria like Vibrio vulnificus could skyrocket to $6.1 billion annually by the year 2090, a significant increase from the $2.6 billion estimated in 1995. This situation raises critical questions. How can we better protect ourselves and our communities from such infections? What measures should be taken to address the growing threat posed by climate change on public health? We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.